A long time ago in this faraway place called Chicago, there was this baseball team. They were called the Cubs, and once upon a time, the Cubs actually did win the World Series. Now, that was a long time ago, and some folks think that it's very unlikely that that'll ever happen again. But, unlikely things do happen all the time. Just to give an example, let's take a look at a few of the very unlikely things that have happened since the last time the Cubs won the World Series. For example, there was this guy named Jack Brickhouse. If you're from Chicago, you know him. He was the sportscaster for WGN radio and television in Chicago. He's the guy who did the Cubs play-by-play for years and years. Did you know that Jack was born after the last Cubs World Series win? Jack's the guy who at the end of every season used to say, "Wait till next year," but poor old Jack was still waiting when he died. Or maybe you remember another guy from WGN in Chicago that was another sportscaster named Harry Carey. Harry was a nice guy. Since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, though, he was born. He sang "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" during every Cubs game. He ended every season by declaring, "Wait till next year," and afraid that just like Jack Brickhouse, he was still waiting when he died. Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, Halley's Comet passed the Earth 2 times? Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, 4 states were admitted to the Union? That's right, Arizona, New Mexico, Alaska, and Hawaii. Did you know that the United States fought in 8 wars? That's right, 8 of them. We're talking about 2 world wars here. Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf War, Bosnia, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Or maybe it was 11 wars if you count little things like Panama, Grenada, the Cold War, and Pershing's raid into Mexico. Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, the stock market crashed? Did you know that America went through the Great Depression? Of course, if you're a Cubs fan, a Great Depression's nothing new to you. Most of you hardly even notice the difference. Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, the atomic bomb got invented and used 2 times? Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, 16 men have been voted into the office of President of the United States, including a father and a son? How's that for unlikely? In fact, one guy wasn't even voted into office. He was appointed to be President of the United States. No, I'm not talking about him. Now, don't get your knickers in a twist. I'm talking about him. Remember him? Appointed to be President of the United States. Never elected. Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, 12 men and 1 woman were elected to the mayor's office in Chicago? And how about unlikely? 2 of them were even father and son. Of course, only one of them was a Republican. I have no idea if any of these other guys ever got any votes, but they all did get elected fair and square, because that's how politics works in Chicago. What, you got some kind of problem with that? All right, well, listen, this may tell you a lot about Chicago, but was this supposed to be about the Cubs, remember? So let's stay on topic here. Since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, they built a ballpark, Wrigley Field. A flagpole was erected at Wrigley Field for the sole purpose of holding the World Series flags that the Cubs were going to earn. Did you know that flagpole wore out? Had to be replaced 5 times. None of the flagpoles has ever held a single World Series pennant. Wrigley Field is the oldest baseball park in the National League. Since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, they installed lights at 25 Major League Baseball stadiums, all of them except Wrigley Field. Well, finally they knuckled under and they installed lights up at Wrigley Field as well. But, within weeks after they installed those lights, the field was struck by lightning. The locals said it was because God doesn't like night baseball. And, of course, everybody in Chicago knows that God is a Cubs fan. Since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, they invented the electronic television. The first TV station went on the air. Did you know that since the last time that they invented commercial radio, and the first radio station went on the air? Did you know that since the last time the Cubs won the World Series, they founded the National Football League? Founded it. They played the first Super Bowl game. The Chicago Bears even won Super Bowl 20. The Chicago Cubs have never won the Super Bowl. Some folks think that the Cubs are about as likely to win the Super Bowl as they are the World Series. But you don't want to know what I think? I'll tell you what I think. I think that this just might be the year that the Cubbies are going to go all the way. So if you're a Cubs fan, this one's just for you. And by the way, special thanks to Cubs MVP for 2003, our old buddy Steve Bartman. Good luck.